Right now, the day's biggest news stories from a Vegas perspective. This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. So glad you could join us on a Thursday. A lot to get to the next hour or so. I want to talk a little bit about the national response. Donald Trump, Dr. Fauci, doesn't seem like they're on the same side when it comes to the coronavirus. And this is distracting because I have my producer that's eating an apple right now, and I can hear it through the microphone. And my co-host is taking a crap right now in my apartment, using up all the toilet paper that I have. At the same time, I'm trying to do a radio show. So it's a little distracting. But, you know, I'll get through it, folks. I'm a professional. Don't worry. I might be out of toilet paper, but I'll get through it.
You got to live your life, Brian.
Yeah, I know. I'll try to get through it. Anyway.
Let this coronavirus stop me from eating my apples.
So speaking of Donald Trump, if you recall yesterday, he was asked a little bit of a timeline. And I want you to listen to his response. This is Donald Trump in his own words in the press conference yesterday, saying basically that he wants things back to normal by Easter. Have a listen to this.
Who suggested Easter? Who suggested that?
I just thought it was a beautiful time. It would be a beautiful time, a beautiful timeline.
So that was
it's a
based
great
on
day.
the data?
It was based on a certain level of weeks from the time we started. And it happened to arrive, actually, we were thinking in terms of sooner. I'd love to see it come even sooner, but I just think it would be a beautiful timeline. John?
So there you go. He says that Easter would be a beautiful time, and that's the president's timeline. Well, guess what? Dr. Fauci was asked about that timeline on CNN last night with Chris Cuomo. Listen to his response.
What you've got to do, Chris, you've got to be realistic, and you've got to understand that you don't make the timeline. The virus makes the timeline. So you've got to respond in what you see happen. And if you keep seeing this acceleration, it doesn't matter what you say 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You've got to go with what the situation on the ground is. So when people say it may take months, I think what people are talking about is how long it takes to go all the way down. But you may see in a relatively shorter period of time when you're seeing the inkling of the flattening and coming down. But, you know, you can't make an arbitrary decision until you see what you're dealing with. You need the data.
You can't make an arbitrary decision until you see what's happening on the ground. You need the data. He also said, and I think this was very telling, when he said, in his own words, the virus dictates where this timeline is going to go. Folks, do you see that's a professional? He's been doing this a long time. This guy knows what he's talking about. And then we have the president, and there's no way that Dr. Fauci didn't tell the president this. There's no way that Donald Trump's people, his administration, were not told that. But yet Donald Trump gets out there in front of the world, and he sets a timeline, which is dangerous. He sets a timeline of Easter. He makes comments saying that he wants churches full. Well, what happens if Easter comes around? Now people are preparing, right? People that listen to every word the president says as fact or truth are thinking to themselves, no problem. My business is going to open the day after Easter. I can get back to normalcy. I can get back to life on Easter. Well, what happens, and there's a strong possibility this could happen, where things will not get back to normal on Easter. Then what are you going to say? I listen to the doctors. I choose to listen to Dr. Fauci. I choose to listen to the experts. You should not be setting a timeline here, ladies and gentlemen. What Dr. Fauci said is evident and correct. The virus is setting the timeline. We're taking your phone calls on this. Do you agree? Do you disagree with me? Number to call, 702-257-5396. Again, that number, if you want to be a part of this conversation, is 702-257-5396.
And Dr. Fauci actually said a couple other interesting things on CNN last night, Brian. He said, first of all, he said he's worried that the virus could come back. I don't know if you saw that. He said this could be a seasonal thing. This could come and go. And the other thing is, as far as response goes, he's kind of said it shouldn't be a one-size-fits-all where you just set a date and go, okay, Easter, everything's back to normal. Because different parts of the country should respond differently. Like New York is harder hit than maybe someplace in Wyoming. So he thinks that there should be sort of a regional response in terms of opening things back up and fighting the virus. So,
well, folks, I just can't emphasize this enough. when a doctor and someone who's been doing this for a living, a brilliant doctor, someone's been doing this for 40, 50 years, is saying basically the opposite of what the President of the United States is saying for the American people, if you don't think that's an issue, then I don't know what to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. 257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Dave. Dave, you've been waiting patiently on hold. What's on your mind?
Hey, I kind of thought he said he hopes that we would go back to that. Hey, anyways, the reason I called, let's lighten it up. This is all doom and gloom. There's a report. You guys probably heard about up in Portland. It was the Lucky Devil strip club, and they were delivering pizzas. They called it Boober Eats. It keeps the employees occupied and the clients satisfied. The delivery girls do it with no top on. I think we need that in Vegas.
Let me get some extra cheese on that. Dave, let me just respond real quickly to what you first said. We all hope, including Dr. Fauci, that this virus is gone tomorrow. Obviously, we would all hope that by Easter we're all back to normal. It's not about hoping. We all hope that not one more person contracts this virus and dies. I think we all can agree on that no matter what side of the political spectrum we're on. It's not about hope. Right, of course. We all agree on that, Dave. Of course. But it's not about hope here. It's about facts. And the fact is, hold on, JD. I know you just came from number 2. Hold on a second. The bottom line here is this. When the doctor says that it's not more than likely by Easter, we won't all be out there. And he's basically saying the opposite of what the president is saying. And the doctor speaks so eloquently when he says it's the virus that gives us a timeline. It's not the, I think, you see where I'm going here?
No, nobody wants to hear that, Brian.
Well, you know who speaks eloquently, and I know you're not going to like to hear it, is Pence. God, he speaks.
That's true.
I mean, I know
he
you
does.
Don't like him, but man,
he does.
He's
done well lately.
He does really well. But hey, you guys, I'm driving. I got to look what I'm doing.
I appreciate you, sir. I appreciate you. Okay, so let me comment on what you just said about Mike Pence. First of all, Mike Pence isn't the president. He's still very important for him to show leadership. And I think when Mike Pence is asked the question about people that are scared, Mike Pence certainly answers those questions, and he's a hell of a lot more presidential than Donald Trump. So I will agree with you there. But again, it's the president of the United States that is the leader of the free world. Mike Pence is not the president. Mike Pence is the vice president, still a very important position. But the reason why I'm not hanging – hold on, let me just finish. The reason why I'm not hanging on every word that Mike Pence says is because back in 2000, Mike Pence was the guy that said that cigarettes didn't kill you. The reason why I'm not hanging on every word that Mike Pence says is because as a politician, he had an epidemic when it came to AIDS, when it came to syringes and drug issues, and he decided to just pray it away. For a week, he didn't put things into policy that would have saved lives. And then when he decided to attempt to pray it away and people were dying, he then backtracked and he put some things into policy because of his religion. So while I agree with you, sir, that Mike Pence shows more leadership and he speaks better than Donald Trump and he doesn't embarrass himself like Donald Trump does on a regular basis, that is not an excuse. And I believe our president needs to be more presidential, answer questions to the best of his ability, not the best of his ego, and listen more to Dr. Fauci and what he says.
The reason why he brought up Pence, this particular caller, is because we've had about 4 shows dedicated to him being a moron and a buffoon, and he's clearly is not, and he's done a very, very good job, especially the last weeks, leading the task force, in my opinion.
I think that's right, JD. I have to agree with JD. The caller's point was we're talking about demeanor. He was talking about demeanor, and you got Trump doing one thing and then Pence getting up there and presenting a whole other thing.
Listen, I agree. Listen, hold on a second. How did I first respond to this? You guys aren't listening to me. I agree with him. Pence answers questions in a more professional manner, and he answers questions more eloquently. I agree with that 100%. But going back to what
probably
you
a little more cautious too in his wording.
Yes, which is important, and I give him credit for that. But when I call him a buffoon, JD, okay, anybody who says cigarettes didn't kill anybody in 2000, anybody who says that if you're gay, I support conversion therapy. Tell me that's not a buffoon.
I think we're developing a Pence checklist now. So now you've got a Trump checklist, and we have a Pence checklist.
Well, let me ask you a question then. Okay, well, let me ask you a question, JD. I'll ask you a question checklist, okay?
Okay.
What would you call somebody who thinks that homosexuals should go through conversion therapy? Is that not a buffoon?
I actually agree with you on that.
Okay, so he is a buffoon.
I don't think he's a buffoon, but clearly I don't agree with what he's doing.
Okay.
And why would I?
So what would you call him then?
Because the guy who actually created conversion therapy actually ended up coming out as gay, I believe. what, 6 or 8 months ago?
Mike Pence is next. Trust me, Mike Pence is next.
You think Mike Pence is a closet homosexual?
I absolutely do. 702-257-5396. That's why he won't let any man talk to her in another room because he's afraid to be too attracted to the man.
Or he's just insecure.
That's why.
Or he's just insecure.
Well, most people that are insecure are afraid to be themselves.
So if you're insecure, you're a homosexual.
Didn't say that. You're also putting words in my mouth. Let's get to our busy phone lines. Let's go back to some calls. 702-257-5396. Let's go to Davis. Davis, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Davis?
Good morning, guys. Good to talk to you as always. So Brian, Trump doesn't think that the country's going to be reopened at Easter. What he's doing is he doesn't want to say it's going to take 18 months and we're going to be shut down. He's trying to support the market. I call you every day and tell you that.
That's okay.
He's putting hope into people's minds.
Exactly. So the Fed just
Davis, that's not what he's saying. That's not what he's saying. JD, hold on.
No, there's water under the bridge. You got to read between the lines on why he's doing what he's doing. He is trying to keep the American people hopeful to keep the market where it is. And the last thing he wants to do, and honestly, I looked at this bill, and you've got 4 months of unemployment benefits at plus $600 a week, which is potentially good since you really can't spend your money anywhere. You've got $1,200 that's coming in 3 weeks. I'm not sure if that's fast enough. But the United States government cannot afford another one of these or another two or three of these major stimulus packages. If that happens,
we're not talking about the stimulus package
we need to. That's I mean,
I'm
it's
talking about what the caller just said.
The reason Trump is doing what he's doing is he wants to avoid having to do that. He wants the economy to stay strong.
So put out false information.
He wants the stock market to stay strong. He wants people to be hopeful that this will be over soon.
Let me go back to the caller real quickly. Davis, let's have a conversation here. That's not what the president said. What you're saying is different than what the president said. If the president yesterday said, boy, wouldn't it be great if we could get everything open by Easter? Now, I'm not sure if that's going – hold on, let me finish. I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not. But, boy, wouldn't it be a great thing for this country? I wouldn't have had a problem if he said that. The problem is that's not what he said. He said he believes that everything will be back to normal and the target date is Easter. You have Dr. Fauci yesterday on national television. Trump is not an expert. He's not a doctor. Dr. Fauci is. And he said the virus will dictate when we reopen. It's the virus. Okay, so, Davis, I'd like you to respond to that.
Well, he's trying to put a floor into the market. So I do work for resorts, in the Dominican and in Hawaii, and we're doing our budget now going forward. Now, what do we want to say? We're going to be closed 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, a year?
Say what Dr. Fauci said. Why not say what Dr. Fauci said? Can't we just say what? Why not just say what Dr. Fauci said?
If you're Disney, are your parks closed this summer or this summer and next
Davis?
summer?
Actually, Disney's opening up April 1st.
You want to start projecting revenues out where you're going to be close.
Why you're not answering my question? You're not, Davis. You're not answering my question.
The problem is, Brian, you take everything so literally, and Davis is coming from a whole different perspective, a perspective you don't have a lot of experience with.
JD, I have no idea what you're talking about. Davis, I'll go back to what I just said, and if you can answer my question. Why not say what Dr. Fauci said? That is a question that I asked you 5 times that you didn't answer. Dr. Fauci said, well, listen, we'd love to be open in several weeks. We'd love to reopen everything. But the virus will dictate that because that is a professional. Let's get back to our phone calls at 702-257-5396. Let's go to Alex. Alex, you're next on the Vegas Take.
Hey, what's up, Alex?
Hey, good morning. Hey, listen, real quick, $15 raise for the screener. What a nice guy.
Well, we'd like to. Yeah, Sean is a fantastic producer. I want to give Sean a prop. Sean is doing a great job for us in the studio.
Operator, Brad.
Yeah, great job for us in the studio right now. So thank you for mentioning that because sometimes I forget, and Sean's awesome. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Alex.
Real quick, listen. I applaud Donald Trump for the job he's doing. I don't do construction, but I'm in the construction material supply end of the business. And I speak to a lot of people, and let me tell you something. All of them appreciate the way Donald Trump is speaking because he's doing exactly what they want is to feel hope. Once you take hope away, if he were to be more technical about this and be pessimistic because I keep hearing a year and a half. Some of the people I work with, when they heard a year and a half that it's going to take a year and a half to clear this.
Alex, fair point.
It's terrifying.
Okay, Alex, stay on the line.
A timeline short. It's good.
I got you, Alex. Alex, stay on the line. I want to ask you a question now, and I kind of want to make a statement here. I think there's a difference between hope and then not facts, facts and non-facts. So let me be. You can laugh all you want, JD, but I'm gonna say it like this, and here's what I'm going to say. If the president yesterday said, "Wouldn't it be great for the country?" and I am hopeful that we can get to Easter and everything can reopen. That's hope. That's not what he said. He said in his own terms that he believes that we will be open by Easter. Now, there's hope, and then there's things that he says that are not facts. There is a difference there, and there is a fine-tuning that needs to be done there. I have no problem with hope, Alex. Everybody be safe. Everybody be calm. We're going to get through this as a nation. That is what Mike Pence has said, and as I've said before, I give him credit for that. The president is not doing that. He said by Easter he wants the churches to be full. That is false hope. There's a difference between hope and false hope. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yes, I understand your point, but I'm just getting communication from a lot of people, and they feel that's a lot better than here in a year and a half. But by the way, real quick on the Joe Biden, apparently Joe Biden, I don't know if he did a commercial, but I heard it earlier on the radio, commercial for Joe Biden. He's talking about what he would do if he were president under these circumstances, and he gave a list. Do you believe about 99% of what Joe Biden mentioned is everything Donald Trump is mentioning, except he makes it sound like Donald Trump is not doing it, which is stunning to me that Joe Biden has to be such a fake and such a liar. Unbelievable.
Wait, hold on a second.
And Alex, you aren't the only one that's thinking that about Trump. In fact, Trump is probably as popular as he's ever been in his presidency right now. He's doing very well in the polls. And having the idea that the virus controls our destiny, the virus controls our country, this virus can come through and dictate how we operate. Trump doesn't want to hear that. The American people don't want to hear that. The American people want hope. Because I mean, let's be honest. Right now, if you're, let's say you're in, not even in Las Vegas, but say you're in California or New York, you can't do anything you want to do normally. Your life is totally changed.
Well, I got some hope for you.
It's not just inconvenienced; it is literally altered. Your life is completely altered. And people want their lives back, and I'm one of them. And we had the debate yesterday, between me and Doug and Brian. And Doug and Brian were under the impression that just because Trump, touted that one particular drug, I don't care who touts any drugs, as long as the drugs are successful, as long as they treat people, as long as we can get this thing over with, so we can all just go back to our normal lives. That is all I want. That's all the American people want, and Trump recognizes that, and he's leveraging that. That's not false hope.
I find it interesting that last caller who was on just called Joe Biden a liar. And if you are one of those people, let me be very clear on this. If you are a Trump supporter, that's fine. But if you're one of those people that is going to call Joe Biden a liar and you can't trust Joe Biden, but you think Donald Trump is Mr. Goody-Good Two-Shoes and you think Mr. Trump is not a liar, then you have zero, and I mean zero, credibility. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Doug. Doug, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's up, Doug?
Hey, what's up, Doug?
Hey, guys. Real quick, Brian, I think when Trump says, his expectation is Easter, his expectation was 15 days and Monday. So it's while he says that, he's going to get advice and it's going to change. I mean, I certainly would believe he's going to listen to Dr. Fauci and the experts. I mean, he's moved it back already as well, and he's in a no-win situation. I mean, you keep things closed, economy tanks. He gets hit for that. You move things open, people die. He's a murderer. So I mean,
I haven't called him. I haven't said that.
No, but that's the way people will take it. Like you said that, but I've heard people say, and I believe it. I mean, I wouldn't want his job. He's in a bad situation.
Oh, it's a horrible situation he's in.
Well, hold on. Let me just comment on that. Nobody forced him to run for president of the United States. He decided to.
No, that's not. But no one expected a pandemic, a global pandemic, the worst since the Spanish flu 102. No one expected it, Brian. You can say you did, but you're wrong. No one expected.
I'm wrong.
Yes,
really?
You're wrong.
Really, I'm wrong.
You expected this?
You quoted a study in France yesterday that was ass backwards.
It was not. It was not ass backwards. First of all, it was TechCrunch was the article.
Here's where I
was incorrect. It was 20 out of 30 when they were given the hybrid drug.
You gave false information. I'm wrong.
Brian, you've given false information there plenty of times.
Name one.
Plenty of times.
Name one.
First of all, I didn't knowingly
Name
give
one.
false information on the air.
What
Brian.
have I said false about this virus? Name one.
Not about this virus in particular, but just something along the lines of that we've had conversations about.
Name one.
That being said, Brian, I was wrong about the study. It's
You
20.
sound like a caller
20.
now.
It's 20. No, I don't.
Yes, you
It's
do.
20 out of 30. It's not 30 out of 30.
Well, that's what I said yesterday.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
You said 6.
No,
You
20
said-
people
you
were
said-
not cured
you
of the
said
virus.
6 out of 30.
20 people were not cured of coronavirus out of the
20,
30.
It was 20 out of 30.
20 people were
based on the
went
study
through it.
that I read from TechCrunch.
20. So you're willing to
And
say on the air
this
right
was
now.
about 8 days ago.
So you're willing to say on the air
I'm not,
right now.
I'm not going to let you back me into a quorum, Brian.
Okay, I'm asking you a very specific question.
I'm not a caller.
Okay, well, I'm asking you a very specific question, whether you're a caller or not. You're saying 20 out of 30 people were cured of the coronavirus?
Yes, based on the article that I read
That's
from
not
from
true.
TechCrunch. Like
That's
I'm telling
not
you.
true.
And again, we're not going to go over this again, Brian.
Well, we're going over it again because, you're wrong. You're now saying things again that are not true. Read another article, something that's reputable, and I guarantee you will find different information. It wasn't 20 out of 30 people that were cured of the virus. It just wasn't, JD. It's wrong information. Okay, we can disagree on opinions. We can disagree on politics. That's why we're here. That's great. I love doing that with you. But when you give out information that is not true, I have to be able to call you out on it. I have to. And that thing that you gave out is not true. It's just simply not. Yesterday it was 30 out of 30. Now it's 20 out of 30. It's very important that we give out factual information on this show. And I'm telling you, I've read
Again,
multiple
I
articles.
said I was incorrect. It was 20 out of 30 when they were given the combination of hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin.
20 out of 30 what?
In 6 days. In 6 days, the virus was gone from their system.
So you're saying 20 out of 30 people were cured of coronavirus.
The study that was conducted in France, yes, those were that's exactly what I read from again, it was TechCrunch.com. That was the article.
Okay, well, I don't know where they got that
based on a
information from.
French study, Brian.
According to Fox News, CNN, and MSNBC that talked about this study, you're right, 20 people went through it. A couple people were not able to finish it. One person was in the ICU. One person got sick from the drugs, and 6 people showed symptoms that improved, and they got better. So I'm just giving out the information that the big news outlets are giving out, not TechCrunch or that article that you get. That's all. That's all I'm saying. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Again, 257-5396. We're obviously talking about Dr. Fauci. Seems to be on different ends of the spectrum than what Donald Trump said. Donald Trump
He also said, Dr. Fauci 2 days ago said, I'm tired of the media pitting me against Donald Trump, which is exactly what you're doing right now, my friend.
No, I'm just using his own words. So you could have that interpretation.
So am I.
That's a right-wing talking point.
No, it's not. That's reality.
No, that's something that Tucker Carlson would say.
It's something that Dr. Fauci actually specifically stated.
So explain this to me then, and we'll get back to our phone calls. Explain this to me. You have the President of the United States that is saying he believes everything will be open by Easter. That's the timeline he's giving us. And then Dr. Fauci yesterday says that we shouldn't be putting a timeline on it. It's the virus that is putting together the timeline.
First of all, the virus, like I said, the virus should not dictate how we operate. The virus should not dictate how we do things.
You disagree with the experts.
No one wants to. Do you want to hear that? Do you want to hear that a virus?
I want to hear the truth.
No, you don't. That a virus dictates.
I don't want to hear the truth.
That a virus dictates how you live your life.
I don't want to.
You want to hear that?
I'll tell you what I want to hear from. I want to hear from an expert.
After building a life for yourself, you want to hear that a virus dictates how you and everyone you know lives your life.
I would tell you
for the next 6 to 9 months.
I'll answer your question. I'll tell you.
Or 18 months, or 12 months, or however long it's going to take.
I'll answer your question that you just asked me. I would want to. Here's what I want to hear. I want to hear the truth from the experts. Donald Trump is not an expert. I'm not an expert. You're not an expert.
You know what? Dr. Fauci is an expert,
yes,
but
he
has never had any experience with something like this.
So Trump knows more than Dr. Fauci.
I'm not saying Trump knows more than Dr. Fauci.
You know more than Dr. Fauci.
I'm not saying that either.
So
I'm just saying Dr. Fauci has not had experience with a virus like this because the last one was 100 years ago, and he's not 150 years old. He's probably 79 years old.
So what's your point? He doesn't know what he's talking about?
I'm just saying he doesn't know exactly what's going to happen. You say facts.
Know exactly.
He is making educated guesses based on hypotheses. He doesn't know because
based on that, based on what you just said,
something like this has never happened since the Spanish flu 102 years. There isn't a person alive on the planet who knows what's going to happen with this virus.
Regardless of what you just said, Dr. Fauci can make an educated guess that has far more to back it up than you, me, or President Trump. That is the bottom line, and you cannot convince me otherwise. I'm sorry, JD. You just can't. This man is an expert. This man knows what he's talking about because he's done it for a living. And just because we haven't seen this specific type of virus since he's been working doesn't mean he doesn't know what he's talking about either. I want to hear from I want to hear from the professionals. I want to hear from the doctors. I want to hear from the brilliant people that can give us the best idea of what's transpiring down the road. And it was Dr. Fauci, who is one of those people, who said it yesterday on CNN that the virus is going to, basically dictate what the timeline is. Not the President of the United States, not you, not me, saying, well, you know what, Easter's a fun day. It's a great day, so I think we'll be fine by Easter. That is the only point I'm trying to make here. Am I saying that Dr. Fauci is 100% right on everything that he says? Absolutely not. I would never say that. But again, I think it's a very, very, very logical point that I am making, that I would rather hear from the doctors and from the professionals, the people that actually know what they're talking about, than Donald Trump. And again, that's the only point I'm trying to make, and I have a feeling we're going to continue this conversation on the other side of the break. We'll take a quick break, and we want to take more of your phone calls on the other side. I know a lot of people have been waiting patiently on hold. We want to get to you. So 702-257-5396 is the number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation. We have a few phone lines that are open. Again, that number to call, 702-257-5396. Take a quick break. We'll continue this conversation on the other side. You're listening to the Vegas Take, 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDAWN. The Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. Glad you could join us. By the way, coming up in hour number 3, this is going to be a lot of fun. Always love talking to this guy. He has been the face of poker for the last 20 years, 6 World Series of Poker bracelets. Obviously a professional poker player, so this is hurting his industry tremendously. Are we going to have the World Series of Poker in Las Vegas? Real Kid Poker, Daniel Negreanu will be joining us coming up in hour number 3. You know, I also want to talk to him a little hockey because he is one of the biggest Vegas Golden Knights fans I've ever met. If not the biggest fan, and he's a huge hockey fan. This has got to be killing him not to be able to go to Vegas Golden Knights games and watch hockey, because I know that's a big part of what he does when he's not playing poker. So Danny Negreanu will be joining us in hour number 3. We're also going to get to this Joe Biden story where we have a woman who claims in 1993 Joe Biden allegedly sexually assaulted her. Certainly worth talking about. Is it believable or not? Certainly any woman who accuses anybody of sexual assault should be taken seriously, but there's going to be a lot of questions on the left and the right. Is this woman credible? Is this story credible? And, is Joe Biden guilty of this crime? I mean, obviously, with all the time that has passed, you can't convict him. You can't charge him with a crime, but certainly we will talk about it coming up in hour number 3 as well. What we're doing right now is we're talking about Dr. Fauci and the response of Donald Trump, the comments that Donald Trump has made in his press conferences over the course of the last several days, including yesterday when he said that by Easter he believes everything will be back to normal. That is his goal. He wants the churches to be full. That's what he said. And then Dr. Fauci goes on CNN yesterday. And what does Dr. Fauci say? Well, Dr. Fauci says kind of the opposite, that we shouldn't dictate a timeline, that the virus dictates the timeline. And I agree with him. It should be a day-by-day basis, right? The timeline should be day by day. Where are we looking at? How are the hospitals looking? How many people have contracted the virus? Are we continuing to rise at a level that maybe our hospitals can't keep up with it? So I understand what Dr. Fauci said, and the thing about Trump is, if he gets up there and he says, listen, I really hope that we can get back to normal by Easter, I wouldn't have a problem with that. That is giving hope to the Americans. I don't have a problem with that at all. But I don't think Mike Pence has made comments like that, and we had a caller that called in last segment that said, Pence is answering these questions more presidential than Trump is, and I certainly agree with that. I think Pence is being a little bit more careful with his answers. And I think that's what we need, and I think that's what we need from the president right now in these difficult times. So I'm going to listen to the doctors. My point is I'm going to listen to the professionals. I'm going to listen to what they have to say about this, and that's who I'm paying attention to, and that's what I'm listening to. And according to Dr. Fauci, there is no immediate timeline in place. None. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Again, that number, 257-5396. Let's go to Mike. Mike, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Mike?
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I got 4 things if you leave me on long enough. One, you're saying stuff about all these other people. What about Nancy Pelosi holding up the stimulus bill, putting all these stuff in there, and the Democrats? You don't say anything about that. All right,
I can start there. Sure, I can start there. Absolutely. What is it that she asked for in the stimulus bill that you have a problem with?
Well, I'm not exactly sure, but she's putting...
You're not exactly sure, but yet you want to criticize Nancy Pelosi. Do you realize how ridiculous you sound when you ask me a question and you say...
half a minute instead of letting them...
Well, answer my question. Okay, so answer it. Be specific. What has Nancy Pelosi proposed or put in this bill that you disagree with? It's an easy question since you're criticizing her for it.
The other thing is you're sitting there, you ask somebody a question. You
answer the question. I just asked you a question. Please answer it, sir.
He doesn't give you enough time to answer the question.
Okay, I'll give you enough time. With all due respect, I'll give you enough time. You just criticized Nancy Pelosi with this stimulus bill. And now, hold on. I'll give you plenty of time to answer. I'll give you 5 minutes if you'd like, sir. I'm asking you a very specific question. You called up saying, why don't you criticize Nancy Nancy Pelosi with this stimulus bill. And I ask you a very specific question. What has she asked for in this bill that you have a problem with? It's a very fair question, sir. Go ahead. You have all the time in the world to answer it.
In this bill or the previous one, when they were
in this bill that you just criticized her for,
when they started out, she put in a bunch of her and the Democrats put in some stuff that they were for. I'll write it down next time. But
you'll write it down next time. So you can't think of one thing. JD, did I give him enough time?
You gave enough time.
Okay.
So she wanted money. She wanted
Thank
money
you.
for the post office. She wanted money for performing arts centers.
All right.
She wanted money for abortion. She wanted money for mail-in voting. There was a number of things, and she did come back from vacation. The deal was basically done. She came back from vacation and she said, "No, this isn't going to work."
Okay, but my point being,
she extended the time frame for the bill actually getting passed.
All right. Well, I gave that guy ample time, and he couldn't answer the question. I thought that was a very if you're going to criticize a Democrat or Republican, have some things to back it up. That's all I'm saying. And by the way, I think both sides are to blame. I think both sides are to blame.
But no, in this case, it's definitely Nancy Pelosi. But
it's all Nancy Pelosi.
No, Brian, the deal was almost done. She came in and she extended it. She added a bunch of things that she's pushing an agenda, trying to get things done because she knows, and I've said this probably 100 times, Joe Biden is toast in 2020. They're not going to have a chance to pass things like this, and now they're taking their opportunity. They're leveraging a crisis to push things through that they otherwise would not have a chance to push through.
So it's all Nancy Pelosi. You don't put any responsibility on the Republicans.
For what? Doing what?
Okay, I'll give you a perfect example. The Republicans did not want to extend unemployment benefits. It was Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats that made sure that they extended the unemployment benefits during this time. You don't blame Republicans for that?
How long?
I believe it was 4 weeks, and they extended it to several months. The Democrats were able to do that.
So they increased it by 8 weeks.
Do you not? I didn't say 8 weeks. I think it's actually longer than that.
No, I know. It's 4 months. Yeah, it's 4 months. It's 600 extra a week.
The Democrats pushed that.
Right.
Are you willing to give Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats credit for that and criticize the Republicans? Because you just said it was all Nancy Pelosi.
Am I willing to give her credit and criticize the Republicans? Yeah, Brian, sure.
Are you being sarcastic or are you being serious?
Absolutely. I'm willing to do that, Brian.
Okay, it doesn't sound like you're being serious. So you think 1 month was enough unemployment for people in this crisis? You think you're okay with Republicans doing that?
I said I'm willing to give her credit, Brian.
All right.
I just didn't answer the way you wanted me to answer.
Okay, I thought you were being sarcastic.
No, how would you prefer that I answer the question, Brian?
It sounded to me like you were being
just tell me exactly how I can answer it so that I satisfy the way you need the question answered.
If you're telling me that you're being serious, then I accept that. It sounded to me like you were kind of not being serious.
And you don't accept that then if I'm not?
Yeah, well, if you say you're being serious, fine. It sounded to me like you weren't being serious. 702.
$600 a week for 4 months.
For 4 months, yeah.
Yeah, which, by the way, the Republicans didn't want that. The Democrats are the ones that pushed that forward. So if somebody's going to call into the show and criticize a Democrat, or in this case Nancy Pelosi, and you can't think of one thing off the top of your head, a reason why, then there's something wrong with you. 702-257-5396. Let's go to Michelle. Michelle, you're next up on the Vegas Take.
Hey, what's up, Michelle?
Hi, Brian. Hi, JD. Listen, if you're out there and you are healthy and your family is well, you have a lot to be thankful for today. Regarding Easter and setting that as a date by President Trump, I think it's a beautiful thing. We all know that spring, Easter, Passover, that it all represents new life, hope, and celebration. The birds are singing, and people feel good. The weather is warm and beautiful. So, yes, it's a big deal for people to look forward. That's only, 3.5 weeks away, that we can say maybe the churches will be open. It doesn't mean that everyone will attend. You could have a married couple that says, hey, I'm going to church on Easter. The other person in the marriage might say,
Michelle, there's nothing wrong. Michelle, let me be clear. There's nothing wrong with what you're saying. We all want to have hope. And I am very hopeful, and I hope that you're right. I hope that the president is right. But he's just saying it in a little different way. And do you see the language that he uses? He's not using a language saying, boy, I'm really hopeful that we can get things back to normal by Easter. I wouldn't have a problem with that, but he's putting it as fact that he believes our timeline is that everything's going to be fine by Easter, and I have a problem with that. That's all.
Yes, he likes to speak with great affirmation and positiveness.
Right.
He puts that spin on things, but I like it.
Confidence is an issue. Confidence is an issue if there's not facts attached, especially for something like this that hasn't happened in 102 years.
702-257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Valerie. Valerie, I believe you're next on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Valerie?
Hi, good morning.
What's up, Valerie?
Hey, so, Brian, you listen to professionals, right? You rely on professionals. You've said that numerous times.
Yeah, I say basically my point on this whole thing is I'd rather listen to doctors and the people in Trump's administration that actually are the professionals than the president himself. Yes.
Okay, so I'm a professional. My name's Valerie, and I'm a professional.
Okay, what do you do?
I'm a citizen, and I'm a human.
Are you a doctor?
I have a graduate degree. It's not relevant. I am a professional. I'm a citizen, and I'm a human.
No. You're misunderstanding me. Valerie, with all due respect, I'll let you respond, but you're misunderstanding me. When I say professional, I mean a professional doctor, somebody that is in the medical field, somebody that is a professional in this field that can talk about this virus. When I use the term professional, I'm not talking about a professional mechanic. I'm not talking about a professional blackjack dealer. Who would you rather talk to, a professional mechanic about the coronavirus or a doctor? That's what I mean, Valerie, when I say professional.
No, here's the problem, Brian. Donald Trump is in this position where he has to find a way to not only save lives but also keep the economy going. And if Dr. Fauci, the professional, the expert, he is not a professional on what's happening with the economy. He's not a professional on how everything that's taking place is going to affect the economy. He's just thinking from a scientific standpoint, how long is this virus probably going to affect the United States, and at what point can we actually open up the economy so that we can keep it afloat without killing so many people? And Donald Trump has the very difficult decision of finding a happy medium between both of those things, as well as keeping people's morale relatively high, because right now everyone across the country, if you can't work, you're at home, you can't go to the gym, you can't watch sports, you're with your family, you're with your kids. It's a very stressful situation. You don't know when it's going to end. And then if you go to the grocery store, you could get the virus at the grocery store. So Donald Trump has the very difficult job of kind of juggling all three of those things. And Dr. Fauci, yes, is he a professional? When it comes to this, or when it comes to viruses like this, although he hasn't seen a virus that is this contagious and this deadly at the same time ever, so no one has. But is he professional in one of these spaces? Yes, but Donald Trump has to do all three, and you aren't understanding that. You're just thinking that just because Dr. Fauci says, from a scientific perspective, that this virus may last, 3 or 4 months before it's in a position where it's not going to spread more, that doesn't make a difference, because Donald Trump, people are going to die from this, Brian, because we still have to keep the economy going. The economy can't be set back 20 years. They can't take place, and so it's at some point there's going to be a happy medium where you have to say, hey, okay, this is what the economy, or this is the timeline that keeps the economy relatively in place, but it also saves quite a few lives. But then also I have to say enough things that keep people thinking that this is going to be over very, very soon, because their lives are so drastically altered. And there's 3 steps, or there's 3 different categories to what's taking place here. It's not just Fauci, the expert, the scientist, and it's great that you want to listen to him, but there's more that you have to take into consideration with what's really going on.
Mm-hmm. Well, my opinion doesn't change one bit. He said that the virus is what should set the timeline, not
and you want to think as an American,
right.
as an American citizen,
I let you talk for 3 minutes and I talked for 4 seconds. But go ahead, keep going.
As an American citizen, you want that to dictate how you live your life. This virus that you can't see. This virus that is just in your brain all the time when you go to the grocery store, no matter where you go, you're thinking about putting hand sanitizer on your hands, you're wearing masks, your whole life is completely changed, and you want this virus to just dictate every single action in your life? I don't. I definitely don't. I think a lot of people think the same way I do. And if I was 65 or 70 years old or 75 years old, I would rather live my life than be scared of this virus. And I think that a lot of the country is realizing that and is accepting that at this point. And if this doesn't stop in the next 2 or 3 weeks, you're going to see that happen.
You want me to respond?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Please respond, Brian.
You gave me 3.5 seconds last time.
I'm sorry.
You would rather not be scared and live your life, you just said, than be worried about this virus. Well, my response to that is this. It doesn't mean that in 2 or 3 weeks we should all just go out there and work and do our job and be who we are, and let's just not listen to the doctors and the experts. That's not what it means. I want to listen to the experts. I want to listen to the doctors, and if they say it's not safe and they deem it not safe to go back to your jobs, but yet the president is saying something else because he's thinking about the economy, I have a very serious...
He's not just thinking about the economy. He's also...
again. Okay. I have a very serious issue with that. That was what I was going to finish saying.
He's thinking about, yes, the economy and the morale of the people that he's speaking to, the citizens of the United States whose lives have been drastically altered by this out of nowhere.
Well, that's there's no question that that's the case, but you can give people morale at the same time, be factual with information, and make sure people are safe.
I'll tell you,
you can do both.
But Fauci isn't being factual either because he hasn't dealt with this before. He's
what do you
making
mean he's not being
he's
factual?
he's making an educated guess based on what he thinks is going to happen.
What are you talking about? This guy's been doing this for 40 years.
That doesn't mean he's speaking in
You think
absolutes
he's just
of what's
throwing
going to take
darts?
place. It doesn't mean he's speaking in absolute of what's going to take place, Brian.
You don't
and again,
think...
it's not Fauci's job
All
to
right,
keep
so
the
let's
American.
listen to Donald Trump and not Dr. Fauci. Is that
Again,
what you're...
I'm not saying that, Brian.
Well, it sounds like you're saying
No,
that.
I'm saying Dr. Fauci doesn't have to think about the economy and the morale of the people. All he thinks about
is the health and well-being
the
of
science,
Americans.
Is the science
and
behind
the health and well-being of Americans.
No, actually, is the science behind the virus and what he thinks it's going to do.
So you don't think he's looking out for the health and well-being of Americans health-wise? You don't think he's doing that? That's his job.
He's making educated guesses based on what he thinks this virus. Again, he's never dealt with a virus like this before. What he thinks this virus is going to do.
The guy dealt with AIDS in the 80s. The guy has dealt with some very, very serious viruses in his career.
AIDS kills you in how long?
AIDS kills you in how
full-blown
long?
AIDS kills you in how long?
Well, now there's a lot of
No,
medications
I'm saying
that
back
you can
in
take.
back in the 70s.
You tell me. I don't know how long it took.
It definitely didn't take 13 to 14 days. In this situation, if you get this virus and you're susceptible to it, or you're high risk, or you have underlying conditions, this virus can kill you in 13 days.
The reason
there's not been a virus like this that as contagious that can kill you this fast. So no, he has not dealt with a virus like this, and AIDS is not even close to a good comparison because the timeline was so much longer for death.
You're making it out to be that Dr. Fauci is throwing darts and he's just guessing.
I believe he is guessing, yes, because he hasn't dealt with a virus like this.
So let's listen to Donald Trump.
I'm saying he's making educated guesses based on the science. Donald Trump has to worry about all three things at the same time.
So let's attack the credibility of Dr. Fauci, but Donald Trump is doing a fantastic job. I understand.
I'm not attacking the credibility of Dr. Fauci.
You're saying he's guessing.
But I do think that doesn't mean that's fact. It is. He is guessing, Brian. He's never dealt with a virus like this before. But he is based on what he knows. He thinks the virus is going to do this, but he doesn't really know what's going to happen. He's not speaking in absolutes. He's not speaking in facts. He's making educated guesses because yes, he is a doctor. He is an expert in this field, but nobody in this field in the country has dealt with something like this because the last time it happened was 1918.
And that doesn't mean he's wrong. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Let's get back to the phone lines. Let's go to Mike. Mike, you're next on the Vegas Take.
Hey, what's up, Mike?
Hey, how's it going, JD? I just want to thank you for being the only intelligent voice on that show. I don't know how you sit there every day and listen to Brian's ridiculousness that comes out of his
What have
mouth.
I said that's ridiculous, sir? Be
Everything
specific.
that comes out of your mouth.
Be specific. Don't say everything. Be specific.
Okay.
Give me one thing I've said on this show that's ridiculous.
Trump is a racist. Trump is a...
Didn't say Trump was a racist. When did I say Trump was a racist?
Said Trump is a racist?
No. When did I say that, sir? Please be specific. When did I say Trump is a racist?
On March 12th at approximately...
Yeah, you don't know. Okay, okay. I'll give you number two. I'll give you another guess because you were wrong on that one. Give me something I said that is not factual and ridiculous.
Everything.
Everything. Exactly. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. You could. I gave you a chance. Bye-bye.
No, Mike.
Bye-bye.
You did have a chance.
What do you mean he didn't have a chance? I asked him twice.
I said you did have a chance. Brian has accused Trump of being a racist.
I accused him of saying racially charged things.
This is probably a year ago. It's not relevant to this conversation.
All right. Well, I gave him an opportunity.
Yeah.
I think.
Get your mic on, producer Stein.
Yeah, I don't know what.
There you go. You're good. You're good. Go ahead.
Knob does what here?
Go ahead.
This is terrible. I think, I just want to say, note to callers, you listen day in and day out. You've heard it 100 times. It's a broken record. When you call and you want to challenge Brian, like many of you do, just have something specific. And like I tell my 72-year-old father, write it down. Have a little notepad and your little pen and pencil and write it down. On this date, you said this, and make sure the quote is exact.
Right.
And then that is the way to argue with Brian.
I don't think that's. I think that's the right to argue with anybody or debate anybody.
But
write it down.
In this situation, at least keep it topical. This isn't about race.
Brian says ridiculous.
This is about the coronavirus. This is about how it's affecting the United States and how Dr. Anthony Fauci and Donald Trump just disagree. But there's reasons behind it, and we're discussing.
Brian says a bunch of ridiculous, stupid things. Really, sir? Okay, name me one thing. Well, everything. Give me one. Well, I don't know one off the top of my head.
I've never heard you say Trump is racist.
Dumbbell.
But you have told Trump supporting callers to go to their Klan rally.
Well, yeah. If they say racist,
that's happened a couple of times too.
Well, if they say racist things, absolutely. I mean, we have somebody called in last week who was talking about an African American, or as he said, a black person who went into somebody else's apartment and robbed them, and then he called them a monkey. So I called him out, and that is probably the Grand Wizard himself who called in last week. We don't tolerate racism on this show. For the record, I've never called Donald Trump a racist. What I have said is he said some racially charged things. 702-257-5396. Let's go to Raid. Raid, you're next on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Raid?
Good morning. I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV.
Okay, fair enough.
No, I'm just
That's
kidding.
a good start.
You stayed at the Holiday Inn Express.
No, seriously. I've had a medical condition for most of my whole life, and I've done medical research for most of my whole life. So I'm not a doctor, but does that mean I don't know what I'm talking about?
Didn't say you don't know what you're talking about. Here's what I am saying. I would rather listen to a doctor than you. Does that not make any sense to you?
Yeah, but just because you're a professional doctor, like a lawyer is a professional, but that doesn't mean you have to agree with what they say.
Okay, so let me ask you another question then. Who would you rather listen to when it comes to the virus, when it comes to this coronavirus? Who would you rather get all the details from, Donald Trump or Dr. Fauci?
Well, a president is supposed to promote calmness and
That's not what I asked
to
you.
prevent chaos.
Right. That's not what I asked you. I said, who would you rather listen to when it comes to the specifics about this virus, Dr. Fauci or Donald Trump?
Well, personally, I have listened to doctors my whole life, and I don't agree with them. Because
So you would so for the record, you would. I just want to make sure I got your opinion right. You're telling me you would rather listen to Donald Trump when it comes to the specifics about this virus than Dr. Fauci. Is that what I'm getting from you, sir?
Because it's not about the virus, it's about saving our country.
Okay, I get it. All right.
That's a very valid
Thank
point.
you, sir. So you would
And doctors aren't gods. You know, doctors
Didn't say
are
they were.
wrong on a consistent
Didn't
basis.
say they were.
Medical malpractice happens all over the world.
Didn't
It has
say there
for
wasn't.
a long time.
Didn't
and
say
again,
there wasn't.
And Anthony Fauci has one job here: to figure out from a scientific perspective how long this virus is going to last and what the expected American life loss will be from it. Obviously,
I tried to ask this guy.
Donald Trump has to do all these things at once and keep people relatively calm. And that was a great point. Right now, at the most stressful, uncertain times of their lives, what he is doing, in my opinion, is very impressive, considering what he's up against.
All right. Well, I asked that guy the question 3 or 4 times, and he didn't answer it, and it was a very specific. Let me just finish, please. And the specific question was, when it comes to the virus, when it comes to specifics about this virus, I said, would you rather listen to Dr. Fauci? Hold on. With 50 years of experience, or Donald Trump? And he basically said, Donald Trump, I'm sorry. That's idiotic.
Well, the problem is that it's a closed question because it's not just about the virus.
I asked a specific question about the virus.
But for him, it's for anyone you ask that question to, even me, it's not just about the virus. There's so much more. There's so much more you have to factor in. I mean, obviously, does Dr. Fauci know more than Donald Trump about the scientifics behind the virus? Of course.
That guy said he didn't trust doctors.
Of course he does.
That guy said he didn't trust doctors, but he trusts Donald Trump. It's an idiotic statement.
Maybe he's been misled by some doctors over the course of his lifetime.
I certainly think he's been misled. I agree with you there.
A lot of doctors, I mean, again, doctors are not gods. They're not perfect, Brian.
Yeah, well, I never said doctors were perfect. Certainly Donald Trump isn't perfect either, but I'm going to rather listen to a doctor than Donald Trump when it comes to specifics about this virus. I think that is a very fair opinion to have, and that was the only point I was trying to make here. I think it's extremely logical. 702-257-5396. Let's go to Len. Len, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Len?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just want to ask Brian what he thinks of Nancy Pelosi. Why wasn't the vote yesterday or today? Why do we have to wait till tomorrow?
Sure. I'll start off by saying I've never been a fan of Nancy Pelosi. I think she plays politics just like Mitch McConnell plays politics. But the reason why this vote, I'll give you a perfect example, the unemployment benefits. They put unemployment benefits at 4 months at $600 a week. The Republicans did not want to push it that far. That's just one example. I could give you many other examples. Am I saying that it's all in the Republicans? Absolutely not. I'm not a fan of Nancy Pelosi. I'm not a fan of Chuck Schumer. I'm glad they passed it. It's disgusting, and I blame both sides of the aisle. This should have been passed 2 weeks ago. Did I answer your question?
It was passed in the Senate 2 days ago. Why isn't the House in session?
Well, the House should be in session. I agree with you, but that's not just Nancy Pelosi's fault. I agree with you.
Nancy Pelosi.
No, it's not.
Who calls the session?
No, it's not. It's not just Nancy.
She is the Speaker of the House. By the way, Nancy Pelosi just turned 80 years old today, Brian. Did you know that?
So what? I don't care
I
how old
did not know she was that old.
Oh, I don't care how old she was. But I'm trying to answer your question. I'm trying to be fair and saying I'm blaming both sides for this issue. And I'm also not a fan of Nancy Pelosi. So now that I've answered your question, will you answer mine and put some blame on the Republicans? Or are you just going to put it all on Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats?
It's all call on Pelosi and Schumer.
Yep. Okay. Have a nice day, sir. We're going to get to. Thank you, sir. Have a nice day. You're biased. 702-257-5396 is the number. I gave you a chance to be
call,
fair.
man.
No, it wasn't a good call at all.
It was
No, it wasn't. He blamed. You're right.
It's outstanding.
All right. You're right. It was a great call. 702-257-5396. All right. Our next caller is
Fernando.
Fernando, thanks for calling in. What's on your mind, man?
Hey, what's up, Fernando?
Hey guys, how you doing? I'm doing okay.
Doing well.
First off, I'm retired and I'm sitting outside of my patio here in Sun City.
Fernando, I hate to do this to you. I only got 30 seconds. I'm up against a hard break, my man. Go ahead.
I'll go fast. I'm a professional too. I'm a professional sex phone actor. And there's a lot of lonely people at home right now, so the calls are coming in.
Fernando, you do have a sexy voice. I'll give you that.
Okay. And the other thing is, I'd rather be preventive and cautious and just wait this thing out for a little bit more, maybe till May.
There you go, Fernando. Fernando, I'm sorry, my friend. I'm up against a hard break. I wish
we'll call you back.
Yeah, Fernando, that was a good
After
call,
the
my
show.
friend. Yeah, thank you, Fernando. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for calling, Fernando.
Stay safe, my friend. We appreciate your phone call. All right, so coming up next, how is the coronavirus affecting locals in this community? Well, we have one professional poker player. His name is Daniel Negreanu, one of the best players in the world. How is this affecting his business of poker? And will the World Series of Poker be happening in a few months? We'll take a break. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to The Vegas Take.